For those who love Back 4 Blood are going to be very, very excited for this update that is coming out on December 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We have the December 2021 update. It is absolutely massive. I mean, the patch notes go on and on and on and on. If you remember last month's video where I covered the patch notes, this is like double the size, and we're going to go over every single one here. So sit back and relax. This is going to be a long one. So developer note, the December 2021 update is focused on bringing some new, highly anticipated features to you, as well as taking a pass and improving the experience with our veteran and nightmare difficulties. Various adjustments to our card system, ridden spawning systems, weapons, and cleaners detailed below contribute toward these difficulty improvements. As we previously mentioned, we'll continue to improve the Back 4 Blood experience and look forward to your feedback on December 21 update. A reminder that our 2022 update goes live on Thursday, as I mentioned, December 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Blah, blah, blah. If you guys want to follow along, they do have a Trello board, which kind of shows them, as you'll see here. Actually, I'll just show you right now. Kind of shows you what they're working on, what's currently being actively worked on, something that they're testing, and then update that's coming and what's been released, etc. So we know in the foreseeable future some of the upcoming updates. So let's jump into the section where we talk about the new features. Offline campaign with progression will now be part of the game. Before, when playing offline by yourself, you didn't actually progress. You just play the game, everything was unlocked, there was no real point. But now you actually have progression. Now you don't have to be online, you can enjoy the game. Now we have new supply lines, roving merchants, time-limited track added that provides new unlocks to spend supply points on. New card type, burn cards. New card type added that is available through the roving merchant supply lines. This card type can be played in each safe room to gain temporary effects like instant healing, currency boost, increasing resistances, and more. So actually kind of sounds cool. We'll have to see how it actually turns out here on December 16th. We have a holiday seasonal event. Holiday decorations are added to Fort Hope and the firing range. And you're going to have unlockable seasonal character skins, weapon skins, emblems, and sprays added. Now they're unlockable, which means they're going to be free. Now we have new non-burn cards, which is belt clip, increase your quick slot inventory by 1, utility belt, which increases your quick slot inventory by 2, but you get a minus 10% damage dealt. Tool belts increases your team quick slot inventory by 1. So those are 3 new cards. And then now we have a ridden practice area added to Fort Hope. Gives you the option added to play as a ridden while in Fort Hope to practice fighting and exploring mutation abilities, which is kind of cool. I wouldn't say we spend a whole lot of time in Fort Hope anymore. However, I do remember having like those 1v1 battles with my friends, etc. at Fort Hope. But now that there's going to be a ridden practice area, kind of give you a feel, especially for the newcomers who are playing the game. I don't know, cool little feature, nothing like crazy, but I like that they added it, and that's probably something that people have asked for. So hey, you know what? Awesome. Bots that accompany the player in a solo campaign are randomized, ultra-wide improvements, stat tracking now enabled in training, and then some bug fixes, which looks like fix an exploit that allowed players to duplicate offensive utility items, which sounds like the grenade exploit, infinite grenade pretty much thing is now been fixed, and then fix an exploit that allowed players to select duplicates instead of one card. Interesting. So those things have now been fixed. The question is, are they really fixed? Guess we'll find out when the update officially comes out. Now, some big changes into the campaign. General developer note, we made the following changes to make controls on PC feel more snappy. We have increased the player acceleration to 2100, which was originally 1900. The brake friction to 7, which was 7.5. I think I understand the player acceleration, which means you accelerate faster. So like a quicker sprint. But I'm not sure I follow what the brake friction means. Is that when you brake slower, or do you brake harder now? Because it's a higher number. I don't actually know what that means. Player starts with max ammo when beginning a run. Cleaner hitboxes are more accurate, reducing accidental friendly fire. Aim assist when targeting armored commons is improved. Friendly fire damage no longer increased with each weapon tier. Healing efficiency now improves temporary healing. Bots now keep their existing inventory and upgrade their weapons with each match. Oh, that's nice. Making bots more relevant is something every single game should do, and I like that. That's awesome. Made improvements to saving individual matchmaking settings in quick play, campaign, and training runs. Added clarification to the leave game prompt while in a party. Smooth out player collision near the ogre spawn points. The ZWAT or SWAT achievements now also grant the SWAT team title. So for those, obviously beat everything in nightmare difficulty with that player, etc. Added 1 additional card draw to Acts 2 and 3. Okay, so overall making Act 2 and 3 technically a little bit easier, right? Because you're getting 1 additional card. Improve the navigation of large special reading between the first and second objectives on search and rescue, a clean sweep. The jukebox can no longer be damaged after the last bus is loaded on search and rescue, barroom blitz. The remaining research boxes will be highlighted after a certain amount of time has passed on Dr. Rogers' Neighborhood T5. improved navigation for special ridden inside of the safe room on Dr. Rogers' neighborhood garden party, made improvements to collision around the mortuary for ridden and cleaners on Remnants, a friend in need, adjusted the waypoint for the gate objective on Remnants, the road to hell, added additional spots for ridden to enter the quarantine area if the one-way door is closed on Remnants of the road to hell, readjusted the appearance of an NPC in Job 1022 Heralds of the Worm, Part 1, for consistency in campaign and training modes. Confirmation is now given immediately after reporting a player. Changes have been made to the credits. Wow, that's some big campaign updates, and it looks like there's more. So speed card updates. Developer notes. We noticed that use of speed running decks was creating tension between players, as a single player would utilize a speed running deck to separate from the rest of their team to rush ahead to finish the level. We made the following changes to bring speed running more in line with the viability of other strategies and builds. Okay, guys, sounds like they are nerfing speed running. So not only is the grenade exploit now gone, which is good, it's an exploit, right? That shouldn't be a thing anyways, but that's now gone. And now it looks like speed is about to get nerfed. So speed running is going to be a little bit harder, and obviously the grenade thing. So Nightmare here might be really difficult. But that being said, I do remember browsing through Reddit, and looks like Veteran and Nightmare difficulties are actually going to be a little bit easier, but more on that later. So here's some of the updates to the speed cards. Evasive, speed reduced to 15% from 20%. Fleet of Foot, move speed bonus reduced to 8%, was 10%. Fleet of Foot damage resistance trade-off increased to -7, was 5. Mad Dash stamina efficiency reduced to -40%, which was -30%. Then we have Olympic Sprinter damage resistance trade-off increased to -7, which was 5. Pep in Your Step move speed bonus reduced to 8%, was 10%. Rhythmic Breathing stamina bonus reduced to 40%, was 20%. Rhythmic Breathing again, now plus 40% stamina. Remove the drawback, minus 20% slow resistance. So they reduced the stamina bonus, but then now it has plus 40% stamina and remove the drawback. Run Like Hell changed to remove the move speed buff for 3 seconds when getting hit. Run Like Hell move speed bonus reduced to 12%, was 15%. Speed Demon move speed reduced to 4%, was 6%. And Stimulants, the card refactored, no longer gives move speed, now gives 20% stamina regeneration. Increased reload to 15%, was 10%. And increased swap speed to 15%, was 10%. So it does look like that one was actually buffed there. Well, to be fair, it was changed to something completely different. No longer gives you move speed, so technically it was neutered there. But now it gives you stamina regeneration, reload, and swap speed. So that still sounds like a decent card overall. Now we have the combat card updates. Developer notes, we received feedback that players did not feel that slow, and steady combat was as viable as other strategies. Additionally, we wanted to balance the change to speeds running in general. We've refactored and buffed the following combat cards to make combat more viable. Now, it's funny that they're doing this now, which is great, but I feel like this is what should have happened earlier when clearly won things were over, but instead they just nerfed the crap out of melee, but now they're just nerfing everything. Or it looks like they actually will be increasing the combat here. So they nerfed melee, they nerfed running, the speed ones, and now it looks like they are buffing the combat cards, or necessarily bringing them up to speed with everything else to make things more viable. That way there's no longer such a meta, and that people can actually play different decks and different cards that don't feel like they're stuck playing the same cards over and over. So let's take a look into these. This might be good. So Cold Brew Coffee now has an ADS speed in buff of 25%. Weapon speed of swap is 25%. Use speed 25%. Reload speed 15%. Combat Training removed 50% bullet penetration and added +1 bullet stumble and 5 melee stumble. Combat Training now has 5% bullet damage and 25% bullet stumble. Energy drink, stamina reduced to 15%, was 40%, removed the -5 damage resistance, added weapon swap plus 25%, move speed while firing, plus 15%, and slow resistance plus 10%. Highwayman tooltip update to include all secondary weapons, ammo chance increased to 3%, was 2%, now has a chance to spawn Molotovs. Large caliber rounds, now 7.5% bullet damage, 200% bullet pen penalty removed. Line them up, now range fall off, plus 10%, recoil control plus 15, bullet pen plus 25%, ADS speed plus 25%, no longer requires ARs. Marathon Runner no longer disables sprint. Developer note, intent with this is to enable kiting. Mugger, ammo chance increased to 3%, was 2%, now has a chance to drop razor wire. Oh my gosh, but what's the chance of dropping it? 2% or 3%? Patient Hunter, reduced time per stack to 0.75, was 1. Power Swap, effect can no longer be stacked. Power Swap, if weapon swap window increased to 1 second, which was 0.75. Power reload. Reload window increased to 1 second, which was originally 0.75. Silver bullet now plus 10% bullet damage, plus 15% range fall off. Penalty has been removed. Steady aim. Added a stacking buff while ADS with this gives you 10, 20, 30% recoil reduction over 2.25 seconds. Tunnel vision added stat that increases weak spot damage the longer players in ADS 5, 10, 15% over 2.25 seconds. Team ammo, the vendor card, now also gives plus 1% increased damage. Well fed, remove the 20% stamina efficiency. So these are like minor buffs. Some of them are very minor, others could be good, and it's possible that I'm just not fully understanding it because I'm not seeing the card, the before and after, so that could be the other reason. And now it looks like they talked about the healing cards. In addition to the combat card buffs, we made the following changes and buffs to healing cards. So it looks like the healing cards are also getting increased. Fresh Bandage now heals 15 health at the start of each level. Fresh Bandage trauma recovery increased to 15, was 10. Dude, Fresh Bandage, way to go for a medic, that's for sure. Developer note, this was buffed to mitigate the loss of trauma heal on experienced EMT. Interesting. Group Therapy, heal increased to 8, was 5. Life Insurance, life reduced to 1, was 2. Now reduces team in-cap trauma by 15% and removed the copper loss. Needs of the Many, health penalty reduced to -10, was -20%. Pep Talk now gives 3 flat damages and from all sources while reviving and grants 10 health to the revived target. Safe Room Recovery now also heals 15 health and trauma recovery up to 7, was 5. Developer note, this was buffed to mitigate the loss of trauma heal on experienced EMT. So, again, just minor buffs to the healing cards in combat while nerfing speed cards and then obviously melee from last month. Corruption card updates. Corruption boss cards will no longer appear at the start of an act. That's good. Hag will no longer spawn with the Fog Corruption card, and Fog's maximum density reduced for Gloom and the Fog Corruption cards, and Breakers removed from all difficulties of Search and Rescue Book Worms. Okay, so things are definitely getting easier in terms of Corruption cards and difficulties. So let's check out this balance updates. All guns set to have the same aim assist snap length duration. Aim assist now locks onto the center of sleeper base instead of the body. Aim snap time reduced to 0.1, which was 0.25. Made aim assist feel smoother when aiming at targets. Bird's health reduced to 1, was 10. Flash grenade damage reduced to 1, was 5. M16's damage increased to 16, was 4. The burst M9's damage increased to 12, was 10. Razor wire is now a quick slot item. MP5 fire rate is increased to 50%. It says this because decreased functionality was not intended. The MP5 is now in line with expectations. The 870 fire rate is reduced to 0.40, which was originally 0.55. The Combat Knight increased the combat attack with, lightweight stock blue attachment movement speed buff reduced to 7.5%, which was originally 10%. And then the lightweight stock again, the purple attachment movement speed buff reduced to 10%, which was originally 15%. And then it says Nightmare and the shooting range in Fort Hope now multiply base friendly fire damage values by 2%. So something's good here, like the bird's health. Interesting that the flash grenade now only does 1 damage. To be fair, you're not really using the flash damage anyway, so that makes sense. Looks like the M16 was buffed. The M9 burst was buffed. The fire rate on the MP5 buffed. 80-70 fire rate reduced. So some goods, some bads. So balance updates, difficulty specific. Developer note, one of our goals this patch is to decrease the disparity between the various difficulties so there isn't as much of a jump from recruit to veteran to nightmare. Now this is true. Honestly, playing recruit, like you don't even have to try, you don't even have to care. You just play it. But then all of a sudden you go to veteran and it's like, whoa, I gotta freaking sweat it out. And then it's like, nightmare is like, okay, this is ridiculous. The bugs are destroying this difficulty. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible. I know it's possible. Trust me, I'm aware. Nightmare is totally doable, but clearly they're making changes for a reason, and things are now going to be better. Now let's go over it. Recruit, player-based damage resist increased to 25%, was 20%, so your damage increased. Okay. Continue currency bonus increased to 300, which was 250. The continue heal bonus is increased to 75, was 25, and the continue trauma heal bonus increased to 25, was 20. So I'm actually surprised that they made recruit even easier. I felt like recruit was fine. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but they definitely made it easier. So let's jump into veteran though, because that's kind of like the in-between ground where you want to challenge, but you also don't want to like, oh my goodness, sweat it out, plan everything. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, we don't want to go into detail, but let's talk about this. So they rescaled the friendly fire values. However, they're not going to tell us how they did that. Sleepers no longer call hordes. Interesting. So what's the sleep? Yeah, on the wall. So then the player base damage is increased to 100% was 100%. Okay, so went up by 20% there. The player base health is increased to 115 was 100. Player base ammo capacity was increased to 120% instead of 100. Trauma heals per safe room plus 5 was 0. And the continued currency bonus increased to 200 was 150. The continued heal bonus increased to 25 was 15. And the first aid cabinet free use increased to 2 was 1, which is nice because each use of the cabinet was 400 gold, and now you get 2 of those. So that's like having free 400 gold there. I think that's actually really nice. Again, this is for veteran difficulty. This isn't Nightmare where it should be a challenge. This is veteran where kind of challenge, but still want to enjoy the game, but also not go and recruit because recruit's too easy, if that makes sense. But let's jump into Nightmare now, because this is, the one that's very, very hard, very controversial. So it says they rescaled friendly fire values. Again, of course, they don't tell us what that actually means. The first aid cabinet free use has been increased to 1, which was originally 0. So someone will be able to use it for free one time. That's new. His special written damage has been reduced to 35%, which was originally 75%. That's a 40% drop on special written damage. Holy cow. The common damage reduced by 50%, which was 100%. So 50% of the damage from common has also been reduced. Holy crap. They're neutering Nightmare. Nightmare extra trauma from in-cap reduced to 5 was 10. Reduced Nightmare stumble resist on Nightmare 25% was 40. Reduced the Nightmare special written health buff to 7.5%, which was 15%. Holy crap. Wow, okay. Continue currency bonus increased to 100 was 0. Continue heal is 10. Continue trauma heal is 5. Continue draw bonus is increased to 1. And continue ammo bonus increased to 15%. And the extra in-cap trauma reduced to 7 was 10. So prior to the trauma, all those extra cards, the ammo bonus, the trauma heal, the currency bonus, and the card draw, were all originally 0, and now they all exist in Nightmare difficulty. Wow. If you already beat Nightmare before this, then you guys are like the literal OG beasts of the game. But now if you're playing after this, you may not even feel the satisfaction anymore, or it might be way more reasonable and you'll be able to actually complete it. Honestly, with these changes, I would not be surprised to see the percentages change on Steam achievements as well as PlayStation and Xbox achievements to see how many people are actually going to be able to complete Nightmare. Honestly, this is looking very appealing to me, making me want to get back in and grind Nightmare again. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Now, I say we're probably about halfway through this patch notes now. It's been like 17 minutes or so at the point of this recording. Obviously, some of this may or may not be cut out, but I appreciate you for those who are still sticking around. Let me know if you still are by commenting something in the comment section. Appreciate you guys. So, the next part here is spawning updates. During endless hordes and back-to-back hordes, all horde special written are limited to 2 of a given type and a maximum of 4. Added a horde special written cooldown, which, developer note, this helps avoid doubling of special written when multiple hordes are triggered. Timed hordes made to have longer minimum resume time of 60 seconds, which was originally 30, with the exception of custom events. So there you go. Now there's a 30-second extra gap instead of before when it comes to special hordes, etc. written. Developer note, if you triggered a horde while having a timed horde, it was possible to have the time horde trigger too soon after the initial horde. Roaming special written may count now 4, or the max count is 4 instead of 6. So instead of having 6 written on the board at all times, you now have 4. Limits the potential special written counts in certain situations. Reduced chance for all Tallboy variants on veteran netmine difficulties. Okay. Increased roaming special written minimum spawn distance to 30 meters was 25, and increased the wander special written minimum spawn distance to 10, basically making them spawn farther away, which obviously gives you the option to avoid them potentially, or give you more time to shoot them before they're just right on top of you like they were before. That's awesome. These are actually some really good changes, and of course, they seem like they're good, right? Because they're just making the game easier, what isn't necessarily what we want. But now it's sounding more reasonable. That makes sense. Obviously, they're making these changes off of our feedback and the data that we provided just by playing the game. So we'll have to try this out and see how things are. Will it be too easy now, or will it still be challenging? But for those who are almost done, may now be able to complete Nightmare. Now let's talk about the Ridden AI updates. Blighted Ridden no longer deal instant explosion damage when they die. Special Ridden's defense against bullet penetration to weak spots has been reduced. Sleepers will more accurately connect with their targets. Tallboy and Bruiser hitboxes are more accurate and their weak spots are easier to hit. Developer note, we cleaned up the Tallboy's hitbox to make them easier to hit. It should now be possible to hit their weak spot from the front if you have a precise weapon. Developer note, the following changes make their attacks a bit more forgiving to dodge. Tallboy and Bruiser overhead attack damage radius reduced to 200 units was 250. Tallboys have less ability to turn during a burst traversal. Decreased Crusher Squeeze attached distance from squeeze attack to units 200, which was originally 300. Wretch's effective range in meters decreased to 22, which was 25. Tracking and ramp up time adjusted to work better. Wretch will rotate slightly slower and will track the target for slightly longer during vomit attack, 2.25 seconds from 1.6. Wretch projectile spray starts at a lower velocity now, 75% of max instead of 90% of max, and ramps up to max velocity over a long period of time, 0.75 seconds instead of 0.4. Exploder's explosion radius is now visible to the ridden player. Developer notice with the following changes, the Hawker's ability should not be used as much, should be easier to dodge, and you should not take as much damage if an attack landed. Hawker pin projectile speed reduced to 2500, which was 3500. Hawker pin miss cooldown increased to 8, which was originally 0. Hawker pin hit cooldown increased to 8, which was 2. And the Hawker initial damage reduced to 5 when it was 10. Hawker damage over time increased to 3, was 2. Hag health has been reduced to 7500, which was 8200. Hag weak spot multiplier increased to 2.25, which was 2. The secret projectile cooldown while perch increased. And it says the developer note here, when the Stinger was perched, there was no cooldown on her projectiles, so she was able to rapidly attack cleaners. Wow. A ton of changes there, guys. Like, a lot of changes. Basically, nerfing every single special ridden, making them a little bit more easier to deal with. Now, jumping into the Swarm PvP updates. Not necessarily my favorite game mode. I still can't believe that we're lacking a campaign versus. Now, of course, it's possible that that will be coming in a future update so that they can kind of bring players back to their game, because as we've seen, a lot of their player base has dropped off. But just like any other game, player bases drop off unless it's like an MMO, or RPG that keeps you playing for a really long time before you even get to end game, versus this one, you kind of run through, finish it, and then you're done. But I'm not going to say anything about that, because look at New World that came out, last month, 2 months ago, and the player base is already only 10% of what it used to be. Anyways, so Swarm PvP, we got facial icons now appear when ridden players ping cleaners. All cleaner dialogue for pingable special ridden is now audible to ridden players. Survivor nameplates are visible to ridden players. Card updates, inspiring sacrifice. Sound effects volume reduced when the effect is active. Balance updates, general. Added leaver penalty warning pop-up in Fort Hope after leaving a PvP match. Cleaners now start each round with full ammo. Ridden, mutation points from players that disconnect in Swarm mode are now redistributed to their remaining teammates. Each player's mutation points are now visible on their party frames. Hawker pin duration reduced back to 7 seconds, was showing 9999 on some pins. Hawker pin damage reduced initial damage to 5, was 10. Increased the damage over time to 3, was 2. So not a whole lot of changes there in the Swarm. Obviously, those changes that we read before was for the campaign. Looks like only the Hawker pin was slightly adjusted. Now we have some controller updates. Aim assist strength slider has been replaced by 2 separate sliders for aim assist friction and aim assist magnetism for gamepad in the options menu. Added the option for camera acceleration on and off, camera movement, linear exponential, and player movement, linear exponential to the gamepad tab in the options menu. Those are some good controllers updates there. The UI UX updates. Cleaners being pursued by a hag will now see a corresponding screen effect to indicate this. Can now easily duplicate decks in the deck manager. Camera smoothing duration has a slider added in the options menu. Field of view option sliders separated for cleaners and ridden in the graphics option menu. FOV settings better support ultra-wide multi-monitor configurations. Added an option to toggle blood, vomit, mud drench in the options menu. Added an option to set audio input device in the audio options menu. The mute all option is now toggled off automatically when you return to Fort Hope. Toggling VoIP on and off in options will enable disable the other voice-related options and volume sliders. Warning message will say why it's disabled. Improve the contrast and brightness of graphics on Xbox Series X. Jukebox tracks are now controlled by the music slider instead of the SFX slider. Subtitles are now off by default. Wow. Social menu can now be brought up by the selecting a player's own banner in the campaign menu. Updates to NVIDIA DLSS requires NVIDIA driver 471.11 or later. Whew, man, we're still going through this, guys. Bug fixes. Lots of bug fixes at Fort Hope. Campaign cards, general. Oh my gosh, the Swarm accessibility UI again, and then a Twitch extension. Oh my goodness. Oh my, here we go, guys. We're digging deep into this. We are like 24 minutes into the recording at this point. This is probably going to take us to like the 30-minute mark or more. Appreciate you guys if you're still sticking around. Hit that like button, man. All right, bug fixes. Fort Hope General fixed an issue where players were not able to rejoin a private party from another player's Fort Hope. Fix an issue where damage numbers did not appear after changing characters in Fort Hope. Fix an issue where the target dummy wouldn't show consistent damage numbers in Fort Hope. Fix camera view not resetting properly after dying while aiming down sights in Fort Hope. Fix an issue where using the toggle active cards key could disable the player's HUD in Fort Hope. Fix an issue where weapon skins were not always displaying properly in first person at Fort Hope. Campaign. Cards. Fix Avenge the Fallen card showing an infinite amount of items in the offensive slot when active. Fix Blood Donor card not playing its sound effects for the correct duration of time. Fix Buckshot Bruiser reducing normal heal when temporary health decayed over time. Fixed Evasive Action card's effects not triggering when the player was stomped by an ogre. Fixed Field Surgeon card not applying the proper amount of negative use speed. Fixed Life Insurance card subtracting more copper than intended after a team wipe. Fixed Money Grubber's card having discrepancy with the card values. Fixed Multi-Tool card not applying minus 5% damage resistance. Fixed Rousing Speech card having an incorrect in-cap trauma resistance of 80% instead of 20%. General. Fix an issue where a late joining player's ownership of a character could be lost if another player late joined the game. Fix an issue where the lightning strike skin for the hatchet did not appear in third person. Fix an issue with the combat pro skin not displaying correctly on the Beretta M9. Fix an issue where precision kill buffs were not activated from player and deck cards. Fix an issue with all melee cards that did not function properly after kill activation. Fix an issue with Molotov flames not doing the right amount of damage to Ridden. Fix an issue where jumping while sprinting wouldn't consume additional stamina. Fix an issue where gunfire sound effects persisted on splash screens when the party host left the game. Fix an issue where the player's camera may snap up to 180 degrees when entering ADS. Fix damage numbers appearing twice when shooting at Ridden weak spots. Fix the missing low ammo indicator when the clip is low but ammo pool is infinite. Fixed certain weapon upgrades, increasing damage by 25% when it should have been 20%, and adjusted tier 1 weapon damage to compensate for this change. Fixed an issue causing players to aim down sights if the hold ADS option was off while healing a teammate. Fixed an issue where the give up prompt that was not properly displaying when the player was encapped a second time after taking over an encapped bot. Oh my gosh. Fix an issue where bots were able to free each other remotely. Fix an issue where bots would lose their accessories after level transition. Fix an issue where AI character cards stopped working after a team wipe. Fix an issue where NPCs took friendly fire damage on recruit difficulty. Fix an issue where NPCs in safe rooms are killable by players. Fix an issue where the secondary objective timer could stop counting down after accessing the vendor. Fix an issue that could result in 5+ players in a match when a player late joined. Fix an issue with shotgun reload animations playing multiple times. Fix an issue where players do not receive act achievements and accomplishments if a player died before reaching the safe room. Fix an issue with player shadows when illuminated by flashlights during the dark and gloom corruption cards. Fix an issue where player loadouts were not being saved when they leave and rejoin after a map transition. Fix an issue where players could still shoot while grabbed by the ogre. Fix an issue where the completion date could disappear from completed achievements when browsing the accomplishments menu. Fixed icons for accomplishments that were not updating properly in the accomplishments menu. The Devil's Return Resurgence fixed a rare issue where the bridge lacked collision. The Devil's Return The Crossing fixed an issue causing Coach to not give C4 instantly to players that were all gathered at the bridge. Fixed an issue where Coach was not giving players the C4 charges when players were more than halfway across the bridge. Search and Rescue Bookworms fixed an issue that was preventing players from rescuing teammates from a rescue pod located on the second floor of the library. Job 1022, Heralds of the Worm Part 1, fix an issue where more than one ogre card played per map after a team wipe. Dark Before the Dawn Special Delivery, fix an issue where the supply box could disappear in the safe room. Blue Dog Hollow Bad Seeds, fix an issue where the kill feed was reporting the incorrect source of damage when players died in the river. Blue Dog Hollow Abandoned, fix an issue preventing bots from reaching the tow truck. Blue Dog Hollow The Sound of Thunder, fix collision issues with Ridden on the Howitzer. Plan B, The Broken Bird, fixed an issue causing the helicopter to be misaligned. Dr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Farther Afield, fixed outlines for NPCs remaining on the screen after the player was appropriate distance away from the safe room. Dr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Cabins by the Lake, fixed an issue that caused the game to coach to repeat after delivering the battery to the gate. Dr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Blazing Trails, fixed an issue causing the ogre to become stuck and unresponsive. Dr. Rogers' Neighborhood T-5, fixed a crash that could occur when the player quit to Fort Hope. Remnants, Making the Grade, fix an issue causing bot Holly to not have a deck. Fix an issue where players could lose the battery if it was dropped in certain areas. Ridden, fix an issue where the hag played the wrong animation when affected by a flash grenade. Fix Ferocious Stalkers not healing while dealing damage. Fix an issue where Stinger death sound effects do not always play. Fix an issue where Hawker sound effects could still be heard after its death. Fix an issue that was allowing bots to continue moving while they were pinned by the Hawker's impale attack. Fix blighted written sound effects, which now only play while the blighted card is active. Fix an issue causing written corpses to be missing half their body upon death. Fix an issue where fire effects did not display on hags hit with a Molotov. Wow. Swarm PvP written. Fix an issue where written spawn visual effects did not appear. Fix Tall Boy's Tier 3 utility upgrade to reset properly after each overhead attack. Fix an issue where replayable Reekers and their variants could become stuck inside collision when charging and mantling over objects. Fix the Stinger's kill frenzy effect to last 10 seconds. Accessibility general. Fix the red text on in-cap when players have protanopia selected as the colorblind settings. UI UX general. Fix an issue where players were unable to replay the tutorial from the main menu. Fix HUD not displaying properly on ultra-wide resolutions. Fix an issue with the look of loading screens on ultra-wide resolutions. Fix the availability or available amount of resolution when in window mode when using a 21:9 monitor. Fix supply lines and character selection screens not displaying properly on ultra-wide resolution. Fix an issue with the contrast levels of the contrast slider. Fix an issue where weapons did not automatically swap from the primary to the secondary when out of ammo, while auto-switch weapons on depleted ammo was toggled in the options menu. Oh, wow. Last little bit here is Muxy, the Twitch extension for those who stream on Twitch while playing this game. Features. Name a written feature has been augmented to allow the broadcaster to see visible nameplates in-game for viewers who have used bits to name a written. Broadcasters can disable nameplates in the configuration page of the extension, adding more options for bits. Broadcasters can now see how many people have voted in a card pool. Bug fixes. Fixed a bug preventing viewer names being associated with written who killed cleaners in the kill feed. Fix for Windows Store builds that was preventing authentication with the extension. Fix a bug that was causing the name a written feature to have duplicate names for a single viewer transaction. Hoo-wee, and that is all the patch notes, and we're at 31 minutes and 40 seconds out of this recording. Like I said, they'll probably have some minor updates and changes to it to be a little bit shorter, but it's going to be a long one, guys. And if you guys made it all the way to the end, you guys are awesome, and you should say something in the comments like, I made it all the way to the end. Anyways, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.